Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
That means I'll see you next Tuesday.
But also right now.
Because it's Tuesday. And I said that last Tuesday, which meant today.
Yeah.
It's the circle that never ends.
But last week we didn't record on a Tuesday, but...
Shh, stop ruining the illusion. Illusion. Hi. How are you? What's up? You have a story to tell me, and you've been sitting on a, I don't know if it's a bad boy piece of information, but you texted me and said, I have this thing I have to tell you on Tuesday.
Yeah. So, on that But Am I Wrong episode when you're like, not all horses are meant to be ridden. And I agreed with you.
Part of the horse of the horse resistance.
Yes, I agreed with you, but then, just to argue with you, I made arguments. But
As she does.
But so I signed up to go. I was in Santa Barbara this weekend for Allison's wedding, and I signed up to go back riding all by my lonesome because that's just kind of what I do now.
Oh my God. What people have been like this whole like, pretend your life is a movie and you're the main character. This bitch has been doing it since you came out the fucking womb. Who goes horseback riding alone? Like, that's just iconic. Iconic Aquarius behavior.
So I go to this place. They section us out into groups of 4. I end up with a 3-generation trio of women, the youngest being like 10. I don't know. She's a child. With the mom and grandmother. And so they give the little girl like a little horse that the leader man is guiding himself on his own horse. And then we're all on horses. I'm, of course, dressed the part per usual. And they're like, you've ridden before. I was like, I'm very much a beginner. Don't try to give me no young stallion horse.
Don't base the outfit based on my experience.
No.
Like, it's the aesthetic is matching my excitement,
Yes.
not my experience.
Yes, exactly. So we start on the trail. And first of all, I think they put me in the wrong group. Because I signed up for an hour and a half, and this ended up being 2.5 hours.
That is too long.
So we're getting up there 45 minutes, and I'm like, we should be heading back, right? No. We're weaving our way up a steep-ass mountain that is narrow as fuck. And I am not enjoying what I thought was going to be a nice, comfortable, relaxing ride. I am hating it. Like, I'm terrified for my life. I'm shaking. I'm making the horse go slower than it needs to go because we're getting way too close to the edge for my liking. Like, I can literally look down and be like, I could die here. I could die there. I could die anywhere. The group ahead of us is a woman.
Dr. Seuss book.
Yes. The group ahead of us, this woman was on her horse, and this woman's been riding forever. As she told everybody else, why is her horse turning around like in circles? Like, I don't want to be here. I'm like, something's right. I'm like, I said, I think my horse is tired.
The horses are working.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't think this is great, but I'm terrified. We're going up hills. We're going down hills. We're going through narrow things. We're going through water. We reached the top.
I get why it took you so long.
We reached the top, and like come over like this lookout, and he's like, go on and get your horse over like to the edge so you can look over. I said, no, I'm good. He's like, no, everybody. And then he proceeds to go, don't get too close to the one next to you. They don't get along. They bite each other. Sorry, what? Why did you put them in the same group? My horse's name is Cash Money. I'm like, Cash Money, like
Cash Money, I'm on your side.
yes, like 99 and the 2000s. I don't like this at all. Then we start heading back, and it's still narrow, and it was just like, I got off that thing being dizzy as hell. And we get back to the little trough thing. Horse doesn't even want to drink water. Like, that's how over Cash Money was over this whole experience.
Going on strike.
And I get off, my legs are, my nerves are shot, my legs are wobbling. I'm like, if I would have died, like, I don't even know. I had shared my location with Gabe, but I was like, I truly did not know how I ended up here. Everywhere else I've gone horseback riding, it's just been flat land. I've gone on beaches, I've gone in the jungle, but it's all been flat. So I wasn't even anticipating this, but I should have known when I came up there. And they have about 50 horses on this thing, and everybody that works there had on legit chaps and spurs. They didn't look like we're just
Ralph
going.
Lauren ad.
No. They were,
which is what you looked like in a very good way.
Truly cowboys and cowgirls. Truly like they all get like a little house to live in. They live on the land. They get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to play with. I don't know what they do with the horses.
You accidentally joined a small horse commune.
Yes,
for a day.
Yes, I did. Terrified for my life. Terrified.
You know, as you should be. Those are big fucking bitches.
And so, yeah. So now I'm just like, whatever. I came back and I went to Trader Joe's. And as you know, I have not been to Trader Joe's since before
You're not afraid of it.
Yes, I haven't been since before the day. Well, it was like the day before everything got shut down. That was the last time I walked into a Trader Joe's. I was like, I'm gonna go to Trader Joe's today. I've lived a life. That's like me going to Coachella again and suddenly being able to do anything.
I've
lived and died many times. I had my abs hurt because we were going up and down hills and stuff. Core strength out of control.
Why?
The next day, my abs were sore as fuck.
Yeah, because you had to not fall off.
Yes.
So here's my thing. When I asked you when you were leaving, I said, did we already talk about the weather? And you said, what? And I said, bring a sweater, bring a jacket. Santa Barbara gets very cold at night. And you said, oh, okay, no, I'll do that. That was a moment that I should have known. You are not entirely familiar with Santa Barbara as a whole, that I would have, if I knew you were horseback riding, I would have been like, where?
There were different trails. I believe, like I said, they put me with the wrong group.
They put you with the lifers. It's that outfit, dude. They were just like, she says she's a beginner, but no way, look at her. She fits right in.
Yeah, the mother, the
10-year-old?
Mother and, well, he was guiding her horse. Like, it was a little horse. And so he was on his horse, and then he had a rope that was just guiding the horse to do whatever it needed. So she was just like there for the ride.
Yeah, that's ridiculously. That's also way too long for. I wouldn't even want to hike for that long. Like, no, that's way too long of an activity.
I can't breathe for that long.
And no one's on my back.
Yeah.
Like, carrying. Like, I have a fanny pack, and I'm not even. And I make Montel my water bottle, and we're on a hike, and it's like, I'm done. But, like, now imagine if I was crawling on my hands and knees, and someone's riding me for hours. I'm bucking you off.
Right. And that horse was over it. He was the guide man. At first, he was like, he told me, like, to tighten up my reins, and I was like, okay, because I was trying to keep up because the horse didn't want to be there, and he was like, kick it a little bit on the side and use the little whip thing. I'm like, I'm not using this whip on this horse. And so, like, then I, like, when I tightened up, then he was like, you're too tight, and I was like, I'm not dying, so I'm just gonna be slow. I'm just gonna do my thing. I came for a relaxation.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Right? Not for a fucking full body 2.5 hour workout.
You're on. It was like you're on Wipeout or like America. What's it?
Ninja Warrior.
Or yeah, that was. You're being put through a gauntlet, and
Yeah.
like you didn't even get anything. Like that's like at the end of that, you're supposed to like find a treasure map or like a lost city. Like that's not like the experience is supposed to lead you. That was like, you know, when people like are walking and they're like, oh, I walked 3 summers and 4 winters, and then and you're like, no, I just did that as a loop-de-loop.
Yeah, again, I thought I was
the
just
activity.
I thought I was just going to have a nice little relaxing ride. Absolutely not.
I ask you, which day is this? Is this the day of the rehearsal dinner or the day
rehearsal
of the wedding?
dinner? And the rehearsal dinner was until like 7 p.m.
But were you stressing a little bit that you were like,
I might not make it. No, I was like, I might not make it to the rehearsal dinner, even though I was there at 11:30 in the morning.
Well, so if I had to get a call from Gabe being like, Melissa has sadly passed at this wedding, and I go, where? What happened? Like, Melissa was on a horseback. I would have to get up there and deliver a speech at your funeral and say, I'm so sorry, but fuck horses. I've been saying this. I told this bitch, and this bitch got cocky with her little outfit and thought that they could, and this is what, and I would have been like, everybody, I would make a PowerPoint slideshow and be like, maybe some horses don't want to be ridden.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Melissa was riding a horse that didn't want to be ridden. And Melissa also didn't want to ride that horse. And here's what's made, this is how you guys came out of it. You and Cash Money, neither of you wanted to be there. So you were in it together.
Yeah. So I paid them for an hour and a half. I just rolled up my money and I was like, here you go, and left. So as I should, because that's what I signed up for. And that was that was what was on my email to them.
Yep.
Also, I should have known too, because the email that I sent, I was like, hi, I'm interested in a hour and a half ride. And there may be 2 other people. Gabe and Gabe's boyfriend, Alex, might have come, but then they were like, we don't want to go. And I was like, there might be 2 other people. And then they didn't respond back like in an email. They responded in the subject of the email, see you at 11:15-ish. And no body to the email.
That's like the really, really bad when you like are starting like a college class and you're like, oh, I'm actually gonna like miss the first something like that, and they respond like that, and you go, I don't know if I want to take this class anymore. These vibes are rancid.
Yeah. And then I get back, and then Alex is like, because Alex was like, horseback riding is boring. I don't go for like relaxation. And when I get back, he was like, actually, I would have been interested in that.
I prefer my horseback riding to be a potential running with death.
Yeah.
Can't relate.
Mm-mm.
Well, I'm really happy you're here with us today.
Thank you.
I mean that earnestly, because all that reminded me of, like the terrain, everything you're saying reminded me of the hike I took in Catalina. A hike I took in Catalina, and I didn't think I was going to survive. And I didn't have to be on a horse there.
Yeah.
So like that, it was like, if I die, it's because of me, not because of this giant beast that doesn't want to be here either. So.
And I hate when they're like, control the horse. Like, they kept telling the lady in front of me, who like rides horses all the time. The mother like was like a not professional, but did like the English like competition stuff. And then the grandmother, is like, yeah, I ride like 3 and 4 times a month. And her horse kept going into the bushes. And the guy was like, you need to control the horse better. And she's like, literally moving the reins. Like, you can see her. I'm like, these horses don't want to be here.
Let our bitches go.
Yeah. I think they would have been fine. The beach wasn't that far away. I think we would all have been fine if we just rode across the beach and had a little gallop, and that would have been it. Mm-hmm. But not up these treacherous. Also, it was so dusty too. And so when I got down, I blew my nose, and it was just brown dust coming out my nose.
That is my personal Coachella. Like, that's awful. That is so awful. And then you had to go and like, I mean, obviously you shower, but like, then you have to like rehearse it or like be like so pretty, and you're like, none of these bitches know I almost died today.
Oh, I was telling everybody, don't worry.
No, but it's like when you look around, you go, you don't know how lucky you are that I am here right
that
now.
I'm here?
Like,
yeah.
I almost didn't make it. Wow. Well, I'm glad that you did make it. Are you going to continue on every time you go on a vacation, you're hopping on a horse?
Yes, but I will confirm that we are on flat land.
Yeah.
Flat land only.
Yeah, I like my hikes the same way I think you would like your horseback rides, which my classification is the terrain. I would like it to be where other people are riding beach cruisers, and some people feel confident to not wear a helmet. Do I think it's smart? No. But it's flat. There are no cars. And it's shaded, and it's wide road, and it's comfortable.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm hoping better luck for the next one.
Thank you. Next one, I'll be in Texas, so.
Ye fucking hog.
Yeah, I'm going to have to switch up your outfit. I am switching up the outfit. I'm switching up the outfit.
That's fucking fun, though. Mm-hmm. Those will be good picks.
Yeah. But overall, the wedding itself was beautiful. Like, you could truly feel the love. But the great thing about it is probably one of the best weddings I've ever been to. But the great thing about it was nothing was serious. Like, it was such an unserious wedding that the person that did the vows, it was just a stand-up routine. And he kept saying that it was sponsored by Brisk Tea.
I just saw that on Allison's Instagram, and I was like, is this just a stand-up comedian?
Yes. And it was just stand-up the whole joke, line. The rehearsal dinner, they had people get up to roast them. So it was like, it started with roasting. Then the whole wedding ceremony, everybody's toasts were all a joke. Like, it was such an unserious fucking wedding.
If I had a wedding, that's exactly how I would. Yeah. Like, the only way I would be able to do it. It would have to be like deeply, truly to the core unserious. Mm-hmm.
And
that's so fun.
She had a whole, like, they had a cake that was ice cream cake, but then like the actual like spread for the desserts was gluten-free, so then everybody could eat it. And then she also like had things for me and other people that didn't do gluten, dairy, like everything. Like, it was just so like. Is
she gluten-free or she just
no? And the thing is, like, everybody can eat gluten-free desserts, and that's the thing. She's like, everybody can eat this, so like we'll just make the bar gluten-free.
What a kind idea.
Yeah. And like 3 of us out of like 75 people there that were actual gluten-free people. And then like Alex himself is like celiac, so serious, like, yeah. So we had like pizzas that were made in a different oven. We had.
Oh my God. That is, I've never been to a wedding that was like.
I know. Alex was like, I was planning on not eating at this whole thing, but like, she made sure everything was taken care of. There also was a raw bar spread. Like, so you know me, I'm in there eating them crab, the lobster claws, and
what a Melissa weekend.
It was
riding in a raw bar.
The shrimp cocktail, delicious.
Oh wow!
live
That sounds
band,
fantastic.
but I know that for the white people weddings, that's what y'all prefer.
Whoa! First of all, my people, I do not prefer.
But this band was
not.
very good. I was like, I know I'm not going to be doing the Casper cha-cha slide here or anything at this wedding.
Shuffle?
Yeah, I wasn't going to be doing any of that at this wedding, but I did get to hit my bye 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 dance from NSYNC.
Ooh.
Which, I had to whip it out.
Of course.
No one was twerking to Beyonce, which was...
Melissa, maybe they were trying. Maybe they were trying.
They weren't.
And you just couldn't tell.
I was like, we're not going to hit the uh-oh. But that's fine. But there's a lot of songs I hadn't heard since, my very white high school
Other
days.
White people weddings.
Very white high school days. And it was a blast. So I really appreciate that I was able to tap back into that.
Oh, that's so fun. Did they play Don't Stop Believin'?
Actually, no. That's surprising. And there was no Brown Eyed Girl either.
What?
Or
That's a
Sweet
shocker.
Caroline. None of those three.
What other songs were there?
There was anything that was like in the 2002 to 2006 pop range was there. There's some Blink 182 in there.
Oh, okay.
There was like... Allison is obsessed with Mamma Mia, so there was a couple ABBA songs in there. And Allison didn't. Actually, I'm not going to tell too much because this will come out before her episode about it. There was the hits, the pop hits of the early aughts. Ed Sheeran wasn't in the early aughts.
No, I know, but like every wedding I go to, I'm like, is it Ed Sheeran or Christina Perri? Are they going to play?
No. Early aughts.
Wow, love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's good taste. Good taste. Oh my God, I'm so happy you had so much fun.
I did. I had a lot of fun.
Then you didn't have to deal with the hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the good thing about Santa Barbara is like Santa Barbara it's like the right in between of like it has far more NorCal weather than Southern California weather, so they get more rain. So like venues will have that.
Yeah, but it was not cold as you had predicted it to be. It wasn't cold at all.
But that's because of the hurricane.
I know.
That's the
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
It is not. It's not very warm there. It was crazy. Like going out, inspecting our home while it was raining, and I'm like, let me put my my rain gear on. So like I have like a puffy jacket that's got like waterproof hood, and I was like, it's 85 degrees. I'm sweating my ass off in here. It was awful, but the beetle doesn't like the rain.
Obviously. Everybody was just like looking at their rings at home. I was like, it's just raining. Like nothing's really. I was in a writers group that I go to on Sundays, and the man that was in charge of it was very much freaking out. He's like, oh, it's starting to, like, he's like moving his camera over and it's like, it's starting to rain. The wind's picking up. I got to go. We're going to have to close this out early because I need to go buy some water. I was like,
too late, bitch.
I'm literally looking at my Ring camera and nothing that you're saying is a cause for this dramatics that you have.
Does he live near you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So then, yeah. Because I was going to say, I mean, if you're in like the South, like South Bay was like the South, like that was like
no
Redondo and all that. Like they started flooding.
No. No.
And some places did, but
No.
you know.
What he was showing me was exactly what was going on my Ring camera. And I said, okay, I guess maybe you just never been around rain. More rain came during the rains
winter.
earlier this year.
Yeah, and windier too.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got so much like stuff, and so we were already prepared. Like, we had a fridge full of food that our power went out like on. Well, yeah, it was all of like Thursday.
Yeah.
And so we had to we can't use anything in the fucking fridge or the freezer. Like, everything's bad at that point. And then we're like, okay, well, now the storm's coming and like we're apparently like potentially gonna lose power for 3 days. Like, we're not gonna buy. We only bought like non-perishables. And so then when the power didn't go out, it was like, what should we eat? And it's like, do we want a can of soup? Like, we have nothing. Like, I literally was like going through like our fridge to find the closed ketchup packs that you get with fast food to like use to like dip my chicken nuggets in like too, because like I bought one thing of frozen chicken nuggets and I organized the freezer, so like this is the new food that like will let myself have. And it was a little chaotic, but thankfully we didn't lose power and it was not bad here either.
Yeah, I kept checking like my home assistant devices to see what was going on in the house, just in case the power went off, and it did.
Oh yeah, that's a good call. That's a good way to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to tell you a little bit about my weekend where
Go
I
ahead.
learned something about myself, which you and Mods will probably have the exact same response, which is,
Okay.
Really? Now you're finally learning this about yourself? So this was like a moment of, this weekend was a moment of like, I know that I'm different than people and I know my brain works differently, but this was like a, wow, my brain works like so differently. And so like Mods and I were having a conversation on Friday night. And he said something in passing, which I then took as like saying something about like, you know, whatever. The conclusion I drew from that was like, I need to be more spontaneous. And he was like, no, you don't. And I was like, no, I definitely like that. I need to, I'm taking this very literally. Like I need to be more spontaneous. And so, and I've got like a really bad like time management, you know, that thing. And like, that's like a struggle. It's like, you know, I need someone to like keep me on time and like on top of that. Otherwise I'm not. And then I'm like really upset with myself. And then I'm like, oh, other people are all mad at me because I have messed up, and then it's not intentional, but then people don't say anything. And then I'm like, oh my God, do they think it's intentional? And it's whatever. So I'm like, okay, I need to be more spontaneous. And Mom's like, you're fine. And so the next morning we had like planned to like get up early and do all this stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be someone who like, I get up and I like get my day started, because I'm not like that usually. And then it's like, oh God, how is it so late already? Like I've lost track of time, all of that stuff. And so we didn't set an alarm, and he woke up and he was like, oh shit. And he was golfing later in the day, or like at like noon. And he had to leave at like 11:30, and was like, we woke up and I forgot to set my alarm early. And he was like, oh shit, like just realized like we have to go, or like we didn't set the alarm. I'm going to go grab the stuff that we were going to get, which is stuff we need something from Lowe's. I don't exactly remember what we needed, but we needed like some kind of home things like that. And then we also needed to get some like groceries and non-perishables. And then we wanted to get like batteries and some flashlights and stuff per pair. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just go now. And he was like, well, do you have like, you know, a morning routine? And I was like, no, I'll just go. I'm like half asleep. I brush my teeth. I throw some sunscreen on my face. I'm in the car. I like can first like hardly keep my eyes open. I like can't speak. I can't form a sentence. We're like running these errands. Melissa, when I tell you that like every time that like I'm in the cart behind it, I like think I'm walking as fast as he is. I'm not. I like had to keep sitting down on the floor of like Lowe's, of the grocery store, and just like plugging my ears and deep breathing, because everything was so loud. I was like, I can't listen to music. I can't have anybody talk to me. I like can't even, like when someone was like trying to like get in front of me at the grocery store, my eyes welled up with tears. I almost started crying because I was like, I can't handle any of this. I was so stressed, and Moms was like, and like my heart is racing. And he was like, did you take your meds? And I was like, well, no, because I have to take my meds. I take my meds with food in the morning, and like I haven't had my coffee yet. And he's like, okay, like I'll just drop you off at home. I was like, no, I can do it. And then he
literally told you to do your morning routine.
I know, but there was no time. There wasn't time. He was like, I'll go do this while you do. And I was like, no, I gotta get ready. It was like 5 minutes from the time I woke up, from the time I was out of the house. Maybe even less than 5 minutes, like 2. And I think I even wore the pajamas I went to sleep in. And we like get home at, we have to like, it's like stop at CVS to pick up my meds. And, I'm like just not doing well, but I'm like doing my best to like hold it together, because I'm like, this is a me problem. Like, you know, like you're like, everything's fine. So we were doing our final errand, and it was like, okay, I'll take this store, you take this store. They're right next to each other. And he was like, oh, actually, like, never mind. My golf time's actually like 1:30. And I was like, what? And I was like, were you trying to like just make me go faster? He's like, no, I literally just figured that out. It's fine. We get home. I make food. I like put my earplugs in. I'm like turning all of the lights off. I'm like drinking my coffee. It's like 11:30. It's like 11:30, 11:45 or 12. And no amount of beta blockers could slow my heart rate down all day. I was absolutely wrecked. I was so dead. I couldn't like watch anything on my phone. My like had a splitting migraine that would not go away. I drank so much water. I like made sure I ate like a fully like, you know, not just like one of my I forgot, like this is like I made a breakfast bagel sandwich that had egg and had sausage and like gluten-free bagel. Like I had all of these things, and it is now Tuesday. That was Saturday. I am still recovering from this, and I have learned that sometimes it's not willpower that gets people to do different things. It is, we have different bodies and different brains. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I felt like a toddler who was like about to have like a full blown like meltdown. Like it was, I was like, I felt like I was dying, and I was like, oh, I don't have this morning routine, and like I don't have like do all of this. In my head, it was all mental why I did this, and it was like, no. This is also physical. This is, you can't start the physical aspects of your day until this, because then the physical aspects of your day are like wrecked. Like my legs were, it like simultaneously, like my joints just hurt. Mm-hmm. And like when I would bend my legs to just like walk, it felt like my legs weren't bending, and it felt like everything was all like locked together, and you're just like stomping through life.
Do you love Disney? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the magical millennial.
And I'm the dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. There is nothing we don't cover.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
And I thought I was trying to walk as fast as I could, but it felt like I was in a dream, and like he was like so much faster than me, and I was like, so that's what I learned about myself. And I'm like a much more pleasant person. And like the next morning, like I slept like a lot that night, and the next morning I was like, oh, I'm happier. Like I was miserable all day. Like I was just in such a like foul mood, and I don't like being in a bad mood. Like fun fact about me, whether people want to believe it or not, but like I hate being in a bad mood. Like I'm very easily distracted, which is great, but like I would rather just like move on from shit instead of like stew in it, which is why we've talked to this. I have the issue of like I don't know how to feel my feelings, because like if they're unhappy feelings, like I'd rather just like be happy and like find something happy. And so I learned the importance of that, and that I'm not like other people. And that's also like Mott's was like, you do, like I was like, well, I was being spontaneous. He goes, that wasn't spontaneous.
It's not, you still have to have some type of.
But he was also like, that's not what being spontaneous
No.
like means. And I was like, it's not? Like, well, then how do I be spontaneous? And he was like trying to explain it to me. And I like could not understand. I was like, okay, well then can you tell me when I'm supposed to be spontaneous? He goes, that's the opposite of being spontaneous. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know if I can do this. He goes, that's fine.
And that's fine. Like, I used to be able to just get up and my alarm clock went off and I could just get in the shower, get about my day. Now I need a whole hour to myself before I can even start processing what to do in the day. Like, I can't do that anymore. Also, I know that I have to have food in the morning or I can't think. And I'm saying all this to say, like, these are things that I'm constantly relearning about myself all the time. And it changes. Like I said, I usually could just get up and go, and now I can't do that anymore. It changes over time, and you just gotta.
Yeah, and it's like realizing what's like a want versus a need, or like a nice to have or a have to have. And I was like, oh, this is I have to. And I was talking to it was Jesse and I were FaceTiming yesterday, and I was talking about it, and she was like, you need like a 3-hour fucking morning thing, and I was like, it's like not even like it was like I just like can't function. Like it's my body doesn't function and my brain doesn't function, and then I'm running on empty all day. And it was like it was just so interesting because I was the same way, like college, high school. Like I used to like I would wake up, brush my teeth, wear whatever the fuck I was wearing when I went to sleep, and then just show up to class. Like, and that was like worked fine for me allegedly, I guess, but like I also wasn't doing great in that. And I'm like, oh, I guess like learned behavior is not like a luxury in that sense. Like I'm doing something like because like I want to do it, but and I need to, and I'm getting positive results from it. So like that was what I learned about myself, and that's I think that's also why my stomach was off all day yesterday, because I'm still recovering from this. And, you know, we learn new things about ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was.
This is an episode brought to you by learning things about yourself. But that's also why I don't go to I don't like to go to stores, period, because my nerves get shot being around people just moseying along where I'm like, figure out what you want and let's get out of here.
I wish I could Tetris people, and I just like want to move them around, and I don't want anyone touching me, and like I just like, oh, I hate it.
But when I do have to go, I'll only go during the week at a time where I know people aren't going to be there. Like yesterday when I decided to make the trip to Trader Joe's on my way back, it was 11:30. I knew that it wouldn't be
perfect time. Yeah,
it wouldn't be that terrible time where it's cart to cart traffic.
Yeah. And
it was still too many people for me, but I did it.
And I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Because after that, you could do anything. And that's what I learned is I actually can't do anything. I can't. There are things that I just can't do.
But if you were properly fueled, then you would have been.
That's
able
what I
to
mean.
do it.
Like,
yeah.
I can't do that. I need the things that I need to function. You know, I can be as mad at my brain for like working the way that it does, but like being mad at it doesn't literally change any of it. Like the sheer willpower thing, that is a big ADHD thing that like every couple of years people are like, maybe if I just tried. And it's like, bitch, you are trying. Like you've tried. Like this is like, it's not like you think yourself out of it kind of a thing. Yeah, that like the powering through and the sheer, like there's, what happens when you power through is like you blow a fuse and you're like incapacitated for days on end and you're miserable and it's not worth it. So that's what I've learned about me. And hopefully I'll remember that I've learned that and I'll stay learning it.
Yeah. And it might change.
Yeah. So what have you learned about yourself recently, everybody? Let us know.
Please.
Slide into our DMs.
All right. Well, that's the end of See You Next Tuesday. And we will see you next Tuesday.
Sounds like a plan. Hey, are you ready for some real talk and some fantastic laughs? Join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
We're serving up 4 hilarious shows every week designed to entertain and engage and, possibly enrage you.
And Don't Blame Me, we dive deep into listeners' questions, offering advice that's funny, relatable, and real.
Whether you're dealing with relationship drama or you just need a friend's perspective, we've got you.
Then switch gears with But Am I Wrong, which is for listeners who didn't take our advice and want to know if they are the villains in the situation.
Plus, we share our hot takes on current events and present situations that we might even be wrong in our lives. Spoiler alert, we are actually quite literally never wrong.
But wait, there's more. Check out See You Next Tuesday, where we reveal the juicy results from our listener polls from But Am I Wrong?
And don't miss Fisting Friday, where we catch up, chat about pop culture, TV, and movies. It's the perfect way to kick off your weekend.
So if you're looking for a podcast that feels like a chat with your besties, listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.